Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In this video I'm in my tiny greenhouse showing you around my cacti and succulent collection. So let's get straight into that video.
Great northern exotic, botanist vibes hypnotic. Cacti in the crib, got the desert symbolic. Tropical greens and
So we're coming to the end of another season. This is my second full year of collecting cacti and succulents. And a few things have changed in the collection since the last video. I still have a lot of Copiapoa, and that's probably the bulk of my collection in here. But I'm really getting interested in the slow-growing, small Mexican miniature cacti, which I'll cover later in the video. So we'll make a start with the main specimens that I have, which are specimens of Copiapoa. So this is the biggest Copiapoa that I have, with the nice orange fluff on top, which is a Copiapoa Hasseltoniana. And from the same collection I got these other ones as well. So I've got my Cinerea there, that's a classic Cinerea, with the fluffs whiter. And then these two are subspecies of Cinerea, or sort of crosses between Cinerea. This one's a Cinerea and Cranesiana. This one, I can't remember what this one said on the label, so if I turn it around, Ariocarpus, but also it had two labels, one saying Ariocarpus and the other one saying Cinerea tenebrosa. So I'll leave that up to you to decide, but both are pupping. Not as nice looking as the straight Cinerea. This one is grafted, but I've sort of buried the graft, which is I'm not a big fan of the look of the graft. And then the other big specimen Copiapoa I have is this one, which is a Coquimbana or Coquimbana pendulina, maybe. It does have a field number, but the KK numbers are not always reliable. This one's got 20 heads. I've entered this into a couple of BCSS shows, and it's got a couple of third places. Does need brushing with a few cobwebs on there. And then I've got a few smaller species of, well, not smaller growing, but smaller specimens of various species of Copiapoa. I've got the humilis over there at the back, which is has flowered, hasn't flowered. I've got no Copiapoa flowers yet in my collection. So I've got the humilis, I've got the straight Cranesiana there, the multi-headed Longistanimia. I do apologise for the pronunciation. This one's an interesting one. This one is a Hypogaea. Didn't say Hypogaea lizard skin when I bought it, and it was more traditionally sort of a dirty dark yellow, but since then it's sort of turned variegated. I'm not seen another one like that one. And then I've got a few more here. This is another Ariocarpus, well, labelled as such. Streptocolon, Carizellensis, Marginata, lovely dark specimen there. Valonarensis, that one there. And then this is a nice looking Atacamensis. I do like this species. Really nice colour, very similar in colour, I would say, to the Cinerea and Hasseltoniana, which are very expensive species. And if you're looking for something a little bit cheaper, I do recommend it. Atacamensis is a nice form. So I've got another one at the back there, Bridgesii maybe, which I picked up at a local cactus show. I can get it in focus. It's just there. So yeah, I really like the Copiapoa, but they are expensive, and I think unless I find one that's a decent price, I'll probably look elsewhere into my Mexican miniatures. Let's move on. Now over in the corner, I've got, in one of my own rock pots that I've made, I've started making pots out of smashing up rocks that I've got in the garden. A little bit of a habitat style staging of a Dudleya, white greeny eye. I think the other name is Nomii, possibly. It's a very miniature species of Dudleya. Yeah, really like that, and I would like to get some more Dudleya. I think they're really nice looking plants. Weird because I'm not a big fan of Echeverias, but Dudleyas, which are kind of similar, yeah, I like those ones. That's my only Dudleya at the minute. Got a little pot of lithops there. I'm wondering if they're preparing to flower. I've not had any flowers yet. And then I've got a couple on this side of agaves. So I've got this agave, macroantha maybe. This one accidentally fell into my suitcase when I was in the Canaries recently, and then I've got a smaller offset of it right at the back there. And then I've got Parii and Gentrii at the back, and then I've got Montana, and I've got another Parii, and I've got a Vartifolia there. They're all potentially hardy outdoors, so they're just really sizing up in the greenhouse until I've got room outside and they're bigger. And then this one, Kerchovii possibly. This one, I think this is a nice looking species. Yeah, that's going to stay in the greenhouse for now, even though some people have told me that's fairly hardy. So I've got a nice little section of agave. The next couple of things I'll talk about this has been my passion project this year, which is habitat style staging. And I know if you follow me over on Instagram, I've posted a lot of the pictures of these habitat style staging, and it's not really a thing in the UK. If you're watching this and you're in North America and you're into your cacti, I think it's definitely more prominent over there, thinking about the staging and creating something akin to habitat style than it is over here. Like if you enter it into a show, it's got to be entered into a sort of, I suppose, a niche category. And I did enter both of these. This got a special merit. So this is the big bowl of I've called it the Big Bend style habitat style. It's sort of I looked up what companion plants went with Lophophora in habitat, and one of the nicest ones I found was Epithelantha micromeris, which were growing in habitat with Lophophora. So I've staged it with a bit of driftwood and dead grass to give it that sort of habitat look, with some nice top dressing there to make it look like a little piece of Big Bend National Park. And then this one's what have I got? Astrophytum myriostigma, and then I've got a few Ariocarpus retusus, and that one that I just can't remember off the top of my head. So again, I found a nice habitat picture from actual habitat of Ariocarpus and Astrophytum growing together. And I created something a little bit like this with a fellow cactus in there as well, which apparently grows in the same locality. So yeah, this is something I'm interested in. I think also, when you think about these bigger specimens are just really hard to come by and expensive when you do find them. This is something that I think with everything top dressing, plants, obviously the driftwood was free, bit of grass out of the garden, and I managed to salvage this bowl from a friend. It was like £50 to create something like that, and probably a bit similar to this really, in terms of buying smaller plants and creating something like that. So this is something I want to do more of, create habitat style looks, and I am moving away from maybe just owning big specimens. But do let me know what you think in the comments. It's a bit of a passion project, and I'm interested to know if anyone else is into the habitat look. And speaking of Ariocarpus, then I've got a retusus over there, which hasn't flowered yet for me, but I'm still hopeful. But this one struggled actually, because it was very dehydrated this summer, and when I dug it out, it was the tap root wasn't very big on there. But I've got a smaller under there, Lloydii, just there in the back, and again maybe that will flower in future. But they're my two Ariocarpus that I have in individual pots. And then I have down there a little Haworthia retusa with nice sort of translucent leaves. And I kind of like, I've sort of half buried it in the habitat style look, but it's pushed its way out. And then I've got a few other things like Gasteria down there, and I've got an aloe, maybe Macrocantha, I can't remember. Various bits and pieces around here that I'm not overly in love with, but they do all right. This one's not obviously not a succulent. This is just Sonchus brassicifoli, something like that. Dendroceras littoralis is the old name, and it's yeah, critically endangered, and something I'm trying to grow. But over the back there we've got a lace aloe, really huge specimen of that. It's looking really nice. Some unknown sort of fish hook mammillaria there, crested golden rat's tail. Yeah, and then the rest of the top shelf is my maybe my choice plants at the minute, that things that I really love. So I've got my loft there that regularly flowers. I usually get 4 or 5 flowers a year from that, and seed. I've got a nice tiny little that little Blossfeldia there, 9 years old, that nearly 10 years old, and it's about less than a centimetre in diameter. And then onto my little Mexican ones like Cactus disciformis there, again nearly a decade old, really small, does flower, that one. And then the holy trinity of Aztekia, if that is the plural for Aztekium. I've got the Hintoni, and I've got the Ritterii or Ritteria, and then I've got the Valdezii there. These two are on graft, and the Ritterii is on its own roots, and no flowers yet, but we'll wait and see. Then I've got the Pelicifera, I can't remember the species name, but it's a Pericifera, something like that. The woodlouse cactus, because of the, well, you can see obviously why. Nice Astrophytum capricorn there. A turb right at the back there, Ariocarpus clinkeranus possibly. And then right in the corner over there, a bowl of Euphorbia Susanna crossed with Bluprofluria. The easier name is Japonica, and it is a hybrid over there. So yeah. So this is the greenhouse as of October 2024. I've moved away from using the plastic pots, and I'm moving more to either terracotta, or I'm spending a bit of money on some nice pots. So yeah, I think because the greenhouse is so small, I really have to think carefully about how many plants I have. So I'm trying to be good, but I would like to move away from these plastic pots now. I used to love these pots, and now I kind of want to make them look nicer in a nicer ceramic pot. So that's my next step, I suppose, next year. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Do consider giving this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and see what else is on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.